Hey guys, in this series of videos we are going to be talking about the works of Charles Bukowski. I have several collections of his here and I will be pulling poems from some of these different collections to talk about. I do want to give a little bit of a disclaimer here and remind everybody that Charles Bukowski is a gruff and crass old man, and his poems do reflect that. Some of these are going to be very sexual in nature and contain a lot of graphic of words and concepts. If that is the thing that is just not for you, then please be sure and click out of this video, and because I can't guarantee what the content is going to be on each individual poem. Some of the poems that I talk about won't have such strong language and content, but some probably will. So again, if that's just not your thing, then please just click out of these videos. But if you're interested in my thoughts on some of Charles Bukowski's collection of works, his poetry here, then be sure and stick around and see which poem I choose to discuss this week. Hey y'all, it's Jen and welcome to my channel, Ifra's Inklings. Today is a Bukowski poetry discussion and it is coming from You Get So Alone at Times That It Just Makes Sense. And this one is going to be found on page 44 and 45. It is called Bumming with Jane. There wasn't a stove and we put cans of beans in hot water in the sink to heat them up. And we read the Sunday papers on Monday after digging them out of the trash cans. But somehow we managed money for wine and the rent, and the money came off the streets, out of hawk shops, out of nowhere, and all that mattered was the next bottle, and we drank and sang and fought. We were in and out of drunk tanks, car crashes, hospitals. We barricaded ourselves against the police, and the other roomers hated us, and the desk clerk of the hotel feared us. And it went on, and it was one of the most wonderful times of my life. So, in this poem, I think that some context is needed. Jane was Bukowski's wife, and the love of his life. And in this poem, I think it shows that you don't need a lot of fancy stuff. They were eating cans of beans that they couldn't even heat up. They had to use hot water to heat it up. And, you know, beans aren't the most expensive thing, and they're not the most healthy, and they're not the most tasty thing. So we're talking, you know, not a lot of money for food here. They're reading papers that they're digging out of trash cans that other people have discarded. They're, you know, they're just getting by on life, but they're having a good time. They're working, they're making it work. Each other's company is really the thing that is what's driving them and what's making this relationship. It's not the fancy stuff. It's not the fancy meals or, you know, expensive new stuff. It's just each other, and that's what made it the best times. That even though times were shit, times were hard, they were, you know, barely making it by, barely living. They've been, you know, in and out of jail, in and out of the hospital, and it's still the best, one of the best times of his life, and that was because of who he was with. It was because of Jane. And they were just living life to the fullest without a care in the world because they had each other. And you know, they got the money for what they needed when they needed things. They had money for wine. They had money to make sure the rent was paid, and you know, how they got it didn't really matter. You know, they got what they needed. It came when they needed it, and that was enough. And they just had each other. And, you know, it talks about the other roomers hating them and that the desk clerk feared them. But, you know, people fear what they don't understand, and people hate what they're envious of. So these other roomers were probably envious of their relationship, that they were having the time of their life together, that they were so in love with each other, and they were making things work even though they didn't have a lot. That's envious. A lot of couples, money makes it or breaks them. Having someone that can be there through the not so rich times and still be with you and still want to be with you and still be supportive of you and have a good time, that's rare. A lot of people really focus on the money aspects, especially in relationships. They want to be wined and dined and treated fancy and all that, but they don't look at the simpler things in life, like, just enjoying each other's company. And, the hotel talks about the desk clerks at the hotel fearing them. That's, people fear what they don't understand. And they probably didn't understand how these two drunks who, how they were getting money and how they were so happy and so in love at the time. So, I think it speaks for a lot that this was one of the most wonderful times of his life, even though it was one of probably the harder times financially. And I mean, they weren't all that well off if they're eating cans of beans heating up in the sink and scrounging for entertainment out of the dumpsters. But again, it says we barricaded ourselves against the police and stuff, and it was them against the world, and that speaks for a lot. So yeah, that's it. That's my discussion on this poem. I really like it because I really like that hopefulness of it, the finding love of that. That's that romanticism that I'm a hopeless romantic, and just finding somebody that enjoys my company and wants to be around me and wants to and can have fun and be in love with me, in that even when things are kind of dire. That's the hopeless romantic in me, that romanticizes that kind of stuff. So I really enjoy this, and I hope to one day find that kind of love myself. Or not. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But anyway, so that's it on this discussion for Charles Bukowski's Bumming with Jane. If you've enjoyed it, please be sure and leave me a thumbs up over there. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. And be sure and leave me some kind of comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the poem itself. Did you get anything else out of it that I didn't? Was there a theme in there that you picked up on that maybe I didn't? Some imagery that maybe I overlooked? All of that is entirely possible. But if you don't have anything Bukowski related to say in the comments below, just simply leave me a hello, a hi, or an emoji of some sort that lets me know that you were here and still allows me to interact with you in the comments. And until next time, when I have another Bukowski poem to discuss with you, I will talk to you later. Bye.